I'm Ivy.
I'm Rachel, and we are Swords and Sapphics, a podcast all about representation, queer media, women with a capital W, and a little bit of nonsense.
So start sharpening your swords, sip your tea, and join us as we obsess over the wonderful beings that are women. Hello.
Hello.
What are we talking about today?
Maybe we're not talking about something so much as talking to someone.
What?
I know, it's crazy.
This is the
It's
first time
especially
I'm hearing it.
surprising for you because
Yeah,
you
that's true.
organized all of it.
Yes, I did. Oh my gosh, it's honestly one of my greatest achievements in life. So
So
today
tell us.
we are talking to musician Poesy, who I found out through the epic musical that I've been talking about for ages now, where she sang a part of Hera in God Games. And she has so much great music, and it's just like there's a lot of queerness, a lot of magic, a lot of great vibes, and I mean, you have to listen to it. And right now she's releasing her new EP and her new song, The Celebration, came out recently. And I think by the time this podcast will be out, Dying to Live is about to come out. So you have a lot of great things to look forward to.
Yeah,
And we,
it's a really great record.
yeah, we got to listen to it already.
Oh, we did, and it was really great. It has some serious bangers. If you're like me and love being dramatic in the shower, you're
Yeah,
gonna love singing this song in the shower.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's been really exciting. Yeah. But before we get to that,
Yes.
what are you enjoying these days?
It's a good question. What am I enjoying these days? Honestly, mostly all I've been doing is watching Below Deck, which, for those who don't know, it's a reality TV show where about the staff on a yacht.
Mhm.
Um, and some of it is trashy, like they get drunk on the beach and sleep with each other in the tiniest bunks imaginable. But I love reality TV. I love turning my brain off with
Mm,
it. Yeah, so I just started Below Deck.
wonderful.
How about you?
I I mean, Agatha All Along is still coming out. Not by the
It is.
time that this episode will come out. The la It's still October, so I'm getting the last two episodes soon. I'm not ready for it, but I mean, it's honestly, I dare to say, like, even if you're not a Marvel fan, you would enjoy it. Like, of course, there are a lot of stuffs regarding like Wanda and the whole lore of her character that you possibly won't understand. But there's so much more to it. There's so much more to it. Each witch has a sort of, of course, it's witches, FYI. It's just such a brilliant, brilliant show. It's one of the greatest like pieces of art, especially with the seventh episode. I can't promote
And
it
it's
enough.
and it's sapphic.
It's gay as fuck, man. It's Suffolk. You see Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza. Honestly, they before they were shooting their scenes, they didn't see each other. And they were sending each other notes to like build
Mm.
up the tension and stuff. I mean, they did a really good job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's just proof that every TV show should be sapphic
yeah,
because it's performing really well as
it's
well.
the last episode had like one of the like 4.7 million views in the first day. I watched it three times on the day it came out. I helped there. But yeah, and it's like the second best rated Marvel show episode on IMDb after the finale of Loki. So it's genuinely a piece of fucking art. And it's Suffolk. Come the fuck on. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. So that's
Yeah.
really my personality. And I think, oh yeah, I'm rewatching What We Do in the Shadows because the newest season is coming out right now. I think the last one. So I'm rewatching that. Also, like, Halloween vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Vampire.
And I watched a strange old movie,
You did. You
another
did.
Netflix special for
Mm.
me. What's it called? Lonely Planet? It sounds like it should be a documentary for a nature program, but it was not Chris, the other one, Liam. As they grow older, they
They do
look
look
more
more.
the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, they do.
Liam
It's
looks
true.
so much like Chris now.
Yeah.
They have anyway, Liam Hemsworth and Queen Laura Dern. So age gap, first of all, and the
Hmm.
woman's older, which
Yeah.
is almost
Also,
never
it's
seen.
Laura Dern.
Although, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've had quite a lot of older women being in rom-coms this year. I just
It's true.
realized.
It's true.
This is
Yeah.
like the third one I've watched this year.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. But yeah, it was well, first of all, it was about like a writing retreat in Morocco. Um so it's like, oh yay, writers. But of course, like I don't get invited to elite writing retreats in Morocco, so I didn't exactly identify with that aspect of the plot.
Not yet, at least.
And if I did get invited, I wouldn't go because I'm disabled and anxious.
Oh.
But yeah, and it was icky because he's not a writer. He went with his writer girlfriend, and she was in the part of her career where she just released a best-selling romance novel.
She did.
So she got to socialize with all the cool writers after overnight fame. So and then she just didn't understand him, and she was mocking him for liking reading sports magazines and shit. And so like yeah. So then it was like borderline cheating, at
Mhm.
least emotional cheating. Um and they also did that weird thing that people do when they set a film in a country with um brown people or people of color
And
where
it's
they
yellow.
oh yeah, yeah, first of all. But also they just show a montage of the white people humanizing the locals and like it's oh look, they're spending time with the people and their goats, like they're so inclusive, so diverse, and it just yeah, I didn't enjoy that part.
Mm,
Um, oh, and they kept using the word exotic
mm,
a lot. So yeah, it wasn't my favoriteest film. It did give me some feels. They had a good angsty part where the Laura Dern's laptop gets stolen.
mm,
And then she obviously lashes out because she was like, "It's because I was distracted." And you get that good third act conflict.
mhm,
But if it was different actors, I don't think I would have made it through to the end.
mhm.
It just so happened that I enjoyed looking at their faces.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So that was a journey. What about books? Have you been reading recently?
No, no, I really haven't. I'm really tired and exhausted with words, so I haven't been reading. And I feel like the fact that I've been playing a lot and lots and lots of Sims is also helping to tire my eyes out. I might find I connected the two dots, I think. I've been playing a lot of Sims, which is an understatement of
Every
it.
time I go on Discord, Ivy's playing Sims, and I respect that.
Mm, yeah. And I've been playing also a lot of Lego on Fortnite. There are
Yeah.
lots of Halloween quests right now, which is great. So
Mhm.
I've been doing that today. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really it. I'm just playing games. Mm, what else is there in life, you know?
I know. I've I I'm back in my Animal Crossing era.
Mm,
I needed the comfort and it was there and I yeah, I just wish that there was more.
yeah, I get
It's
it.
like you get to a certain point and you're not getting much new content anymore,
Yeah,
but it's good for when you need to turn your brain off.
that's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Anything else?
No, not really. I'm just rereading, not rereading, just reading the same books I was last time I talked to
Mhm.
you. I've had a breakdown since last time we talked, so I don't have much to update you on. Just been trying to survive with reality TV.
Sprinkle it into conversation very lightly. It's quite a big deal, but
Just
this is
had a bit
very
of a
good.
Just had a bit of a nervy bee, that's
Oh,
all.
that old friend. Come on. Yeah.
Nothing new, nothing changed.
Mm, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, it's same for me, so got nothing else to report.
Yeah.
But, been listening to a lot of music.
Yes,
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Posey. Yeah.
me too.
So should we
What
get
one's your what
Oh,
one's your favorite? What's your favorite song off the EP?
well, of the new EP, which is one that you guys haven't heard yet. It's the In Between. It's such a good song. It's
Yes.
such a good, like all of them are so good, but this one I had on repeat for a long time. Especially like I put the EP on when I was like cooking, so it was like, well, I cooked like twice since then, but it was very epic of me. Let me tell you, I was doing a whole ass production here. My neighbors for sure heard that. Like, yeah,
And they were lucky too.
yeah, I think so too.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm also listening to a lot of epic musical, but I always am really the new. Well, by the time this episode comes out, I'm gonna get a new album, new saga.
Yay!
It's coming out in 3 days. Oh my God, 4 days. I'm very excited. Ooh, it's gonna make me
Beautiful.
cry so bad. I know that it always does. I'm excited.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I went on a little journey here,
You did go on a journey.
but thank you
I
for
followed you.
thank you for joining me on it.
I'll follow you anywhere.
I really appreciate it. Really
Go on
appreciate
any
it.
journey with you.
So will you follow me to interviewing the one and only Posey?
I don't know about that.
Ugh,
I'm busy.
well,
Got things to do.
I thought so. Thought so. But anyway,
I
enjoy.
guess. I guess I can make it, yeah.
Oh, well, enjoy.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So my name's Posey, and I am a singer, songwriter, but I'm also writing a book in my spare time as well. And I love literature. I love witchy stuff. I love gothic stories about women doing incredible things. And I live in London.
Oh, wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you. We would love to hear a little more about how you became a musician. What first drew you to music and performing?
I think I was always that kid in my family at like holidays that would like make all of the other cousins do like a play or a performance. So ever since I was really little, I liked performing, which was kind of strange because I was really shy when I was growing up too. So I was like, nobody talk to me unless I'm putting on this show, and then I want to be the absolute center of attention. And then I think what like made me want to be a performer was my dad was really into classic rock. And so I grew up watching like a lot of like Queen concerts and Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, and just like seeing how one person could bring that many people together on such a large scale. I was like, I really want to do that. And also, I really want to wear fabulous outfits. So
So, when you're creating music, what comes first for you, like the harmony or the lyrics?
I feel like everybody has a different thing that they do when they do that. For me, if I'm gonna sit down to write a song, I don't think it's ever been because I've like had a melody in my head or like a chord progression that I want to try. I think if I'm gonna sit down to write a song, it's because I have like an idea. So I guess the words come first. I have like a note on my phone that's just like where I write down phrases and stuff that make me be like, oh, that could be something that you could flesh out into a song. And so usually it starts with that, and then I'll sit down at the piano and kind of like figure out chords that go with whatever that vibe is, and then just sing like words of nonsense with it until it makes sense.
How long does it take to write like one song?
It really depends because like there have been songs that I've written. I'd say most songs that I've written over the course of like a few hours.
Mhm.
Because it will just be like, and that's usually if I'm writing with another person, because then you can kind of bounce ideas off of each other. But yeah, I would say like most things I write in an afternoon, and then every so often there's like one song where I'll just write like a verse and a chorus, because if I'm just trying out an idea, I always just write a verse and a chorus, and then I keep going if I like it. So there's like the few forgotten ones where like the verse and the chorus is so like I'm so excited about it, but I'm like, oh, how do I like write a second verse that lives up to what this first one was, and then I'll leave it alone. And then those songs will take like months, because then I'll just like, I'm kind of like, if I don't do it right when it happens, then it becomes a really long process where I'm like, oh, I don't want to open this back up again. Not so daunting. So I definitely work faster, I think.
Mhm. That really surprised me. I thought like it would take at least a few days to like get it all done.
Like, I think there's like editing that happens
Mhm. Right.
sometimes, but I would say like most of the songs that I've put out that are like on Spotify and stuff are songs where like I sat down and I wrote them like in the same day. We didn't like do all the production and stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
the bones of
Mhm.
like this is the chorus and this is the verse happens like kind of in that moment.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Maybe I should be a better editor. I don't know.
I mean, like we listen to your music. I absolutely love it. And so, I mean, it works really well. Yeah.
Thanks.
Um, where do you find inspiration during writing, during the writing process?
I think I get a lot of inspiration from books, because I've like always been a very avid reader. And I think because I'm inspired a lot by like ideas, I'll be like reading something, and then there'll be like a line of dialogue or like description where I'm like, oh, that was such a like smart way to organize that thought. I've never thought about it like that. Like my song Body Language came from a book that I read. And one of the lines that's in the chorus was like from this book.
Mhm.
And then I kind of like grew the whole song out of that. But then, so I would say that, and also like dreams. Um, like I've always had like really vivid dreams, and I'm like that annoying person in the morning who is like, I just had this dream and let me tell you it in extreme detail for like 45 minutes, even though this probably makes no sense to you. And I've like kept a dream journal at like various times in my life. So like Cynthia, my song opens with like, I woke up from a dream where I pulled out all my teeth. And that was because I was having a recurring
Mhm.
dream about that all the time. So I was like, what does this mean? Um, so yeah, that, and then probably the last one is like, um, obviously like my life, my friends'
Mhm.
lives, and like just things that I see that people are going through. And in those scenarios, I feel like it's like emotions that feel really hard to communicate in just what you say to someone. Um, like I find those songs are like if I'm like really in love or like really angry, but like wouldn't necessarily or can't necessarily like express that to the person in the moment, then I always write a song.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And as you're writing a book as well, is there like a way that you kind of decide whether something is better fit for a song or whether it's more inspiring, like you're writing prose wise?
That's a really good question. I think that stuff for books is always things that are like a bigger idea, like because and like I had gone to school for literature. That's like what I studied at uni. So I kind of wanted to be a writer before I wanted to be a musician. And I think the challenge of like music is that you have such a shorter space to tell a story. You only have 3 minutes. So you can't like, you kind of have to write about like one isolated moment. And someone said something to me at the beginning of when I started writing music, something that I thought was really valuable, which is like you can write 100 songs about the same relationship, because you can write about it like 3 hours before it happened, and then like the hour before it happened, and then like the hour after. So I think if I'm going to write a song about an idea, it's usually something that's really focused and direct. Whereas, like, if I have an idea for a book or like a short story, that's something that I'm like, okay, this is like more sprawling and there's like lots of complex things happening to different people. I think that's how I kind of split it up.
We actually wanted to talk with you about like writing a book versus writing a song. So before we get to that though, is there something you can tell about the book that you're writing right now? Or is it still in the draft?
Yeah, it's a, I guess it's a sci-fi kind of. I think those are always the stories that I've like traditionally gravitated to most in my life, like a little like magical realism-y where like it's our world except like one small thing is different. And it's a story about like ambition, but also like female ambition and like what it means to be a woman who wants to do something really extraordinary with her life and kind of the lengths at which she would go to achieve that. I think in a lot of ways it's like based on my experience in the music industry and being in a space like that where there's lots of different types of personalities at play and some of them are good and some of them are untrustworthy and like it's, you know, I just kind of wanted to like explore that idea through a different lens. So it's about a girl who um, gets a job at a tech company where they've just found technology to visualize everyone's dreams into like visual data. So like you could play your dream back in front of your partner and like they could see what you were dreaming about last night and kind of the implications of that. So she gets quite a lot of success for being involved in that project. But then it's, yeah, it's just kind of what would life be like if we could see into people's aspirations that much?
Mm.
Terrifying.
Yeah, probably, right?
Oh, amazing. Well, I'll be looking for that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm excited
Good.
about it.
So, if you kind of started as a writer, how did you transition to music? And are there any similarities between the two?
I think there's definitely a lot because in both situations you're communicating, right? You're like trying to talk about a relatable human feeling in a way where other people can connect to it and it can make them think about their own lives. And so I think in both scenarios you're trying to do that because like in both scenarios you're doing something artistic and trying to like synthesize what people feel. I think like I started singing just because like it happened one day. That's like not a very exciting answer, but like I had been like writing little stories on like my parents' computer. I mean, the first story I ever wrote when I was 9 was about like two mermaids who were in love. Which like I don't know where that is now because this was like at the time of like floppy disks and stuff. And I remember I like printed it all out and like saved it in my closet because I went to Catholic school when I was growing up. I didn't want everyone to like know that I was writing this like gay story about two mermaids in love. And then I think my grandparents had a 40th anniversary party where there was a lot of people coming over to our house, and then I just asked my parents if I could sing a song. And I think it was just because I was like getting really into music at that time, and I was like, I want to try this. This seems fun. And then I sang in front of like 200 people, and I think I just like felt very at home, and then started being like, oh, this is like another way that I could like tell stories and get to like say them out loud, sing them out loud, kind of. So yeah.
Amazing.
I love that.
What does the production process look like for not only a song, but like a whole EP or an album?
Hmm. Well, there's lots of stages. Like at the very beginning, I always write everything on like just piano or just guitar, because I'm like a big believer in like if it sounds good like that, it is a good song.
Mhm.
And also, I don't know how to do production-y stuff myself, so a lot of the time it's out of necessity too. So like for the example, the EP that I'm like starting to release this year, I wrote with one of my friends, Lexi. And we did a lot of it on Zoom because it was right after I had moved to the UK and she lives in Canada. So we would just like call each other and like write, which is like a really hard thing to do. But I think when you already have a rapport with someone, it's a little bit easier. So we would like call each other. It would always be really late for me because of the time difference. So there's all these voice memos on my phone of me like singing very, very softly, like trying not to wake anyone else up, like writing these songs. And then when we kind of picked which ones were all made sense to be on like a collection together. I guess that's the second step. We went into the studio. So like she came to London and we like recorded 2 of the songs, like a little demo version of them. And I just like laid down some vocals. And then I went to Canada because I was going home anyway and went to her studio there. And then we did kind of all of the like bigger production stuff. So that phase is really fun because it's a lot of just like me making playlists of like, okay, I want this song to have like these drums from this other track that I like. And I want it to have this sort of like synth feel in the chorus, and like so just like a lot of references, and then you get to push a lot of buttons and see what all of that sounds like when it comes together. And then we got it mixed and mastered in London, so it was like very like back and forth between the 2 places, which I think was nice, but also I'm excited for whatever I do next to kind of do it all in the same place, because it's nicer to be in the room with people than have to like send files back and forth. But I'm really glad that it came together the way it did.
Is there
Yeah,
anything
it
that
came together.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just going to compliment you. I was just going to say it came together beautifully.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Is there anything about the process that surprised you?
I think the funny thing I think about writing songs, or probably anyone who writes anything, is that I think when you have like a collection of something, whether that's like poems or short stories or an EP, it allows you to see the things that you gravitate to the most. So the whole EP is called The In-Between, and the reason that I called it that is because one of the songs is called The In-Between, but also because I felt like a lot of the songs were about like an in-between period of my life where like I had just moved to a new place. Like I was like in the last couple of years of being in my 20s, there was just like a lot of like, I feel like this is the connector point in my life. And I think a lot of people feel like that at the end of their 20s. It's like a very chaotic time because half of your friends are like getting married and half of them are like eating craft dinner 3 times a day. I'm definitely the latter half, but when it all came together and I saw the songs that we chose, it was really funny to see that like there were images that would come up in one song that were also in another song. Like I wrote about like the morning a lot, and just like seeing the patterns of like, oh, I didn't even realize that that was such a like prevalent thing that I was feeling at that time, because at this point these songs are now like 2 years old. So I think it's just funny to see that and be like, oh, I didn't know that that was that important to me, or I was feeling that profoundly, that even when I was writing a song that was very thematically different, that underlying feeling of being like, I'm stuck, I don't know what the next move is still coming up. Like I feel like when I did my earlier EP, Glass Box Confessional with Big Machine, I feel like felt a lot of frustration in my life and felt a lot of like being scared of losing control. And in all the songs across that, even the songs that are like more upbeat or more chill or more fun, there are still lines that reference that feeling. So I think it's just cool to be like, oh, this is like a little capsule of where I was at this point and the things that were like on my mind.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
and what was the biggest challenge, if any, about writing this EP?
I think for a lot of my life, I've struggled with like being scared to be really honest in songs. Just because I'm trying to work out a whole people pleasery thing in my personal life. And I think sometimes that bleeds over into like my artistic practice, because like if I'm writing a song about someone specific who's in my life, I get really nervous of like, oh, I need to like cover this up so that I have like plausible deniability so that like that person won't be like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that about me. Um, and I think I've been really honest about a lot of things that I felt on this record. Like the one song, The In Between, is essentially about my like fears of what if all of the things that I want like never happen? Like what if I like never make it as a musician? Like what if I never get to like play all these shows that I want? Like what does that mean? And that whole song is very like vulnerable and like sad for me in a lot of ways, but whenever I've like performed it, I always ask people like, oh, think about the thing that you want the most in your life, whether it's like a relationship or a job or whatever. And if that doesn't happen, would you be able to be happy with your life the way it is right now? And I think it's like a really cathartic thing for people to feel. So even though it's obviously harder to be really honest in your art sometimes, I think it always makes better results because then it's like a real thing people can connect with.
That's like I'm just like in between jobs and just sort of figuring out what the next step is for me. And when I was listening to the EP, like that song was my favorite one, and I had it on repeat. And now it's like you connected
You're
the
like,
two
what?
dots for me now.
This thing
Amazing.
never happens to me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song from this EP?
I think that In Between is my favorite for that reason. Like
Mhm.
just whenever I hear it, I'm like, I feel like this is the most honest I've ever been with myself about stuff. And it touches on a lot of things of like feelings that I've had about relationships I've been in, feelings that I've had about my like ambition in life. So I think it's the one I'm the most proud of. The one that I probably enjoy listening to the most is Dying to Live because it's really fun.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like it's almost the antithesis to the in between because it's like, I don't know what's coming next, but I just want to do something. Like, I
Mhm.
just don't want to like exist. I want to like live and
Mhm.
experience everything. And whenever I feel like it'd be a good song to run to or something.
I said to Ivy, I can't wait to sing the in between in the shower really dramatically.
Right? You're just like crying.
Yeah.
And that's really funny because I'm sometimes when I'm like outside and I have my earphones in, I'm listening to Multiply and I feel like a badass going to like a battlefield. So
Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
I'm glad it's translating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any advice for aspiring musicians?
Ooh, yes. I think the biggest piece of advice that I would give that I wish somebody had given to me is that because like trying to do anything creative is really weird, and all the systems of it are really strange. Like I always think about it. One of my best friends is a lawyer, and like she could just go to law school, pass her bar exam, like be a law clerk, and now she's a lawyer. But when you're becoming an artist, there's not a clear way to do that. And I think because of that, sometimes we like wait around for people to like give us the permission to be like, I'm an artist. And because of that, then you kind of can go into rooms when you're first starting out where you feel like the answers that you have aren't good enough. Like I used to go into like meetings with labels or managers and agents, and I didn't know that I was supposed to know what my art was going to be. Like I thought like someone would just like sit me down and be like, "Okay, this is how you are going to succeed. You are going to dress like this and wear this and make songs like this." And I think that happens to a lot of young artists when they're getting started in music because they don't know that they're actually allowed to have opinions about that stuff.
Mhm.
So the biggest advice I would give would be to if you want to pursue that and you feel really passionately about it and it's like the thing that lights you up, take some time by yourself to get as clear as you can about like what kind of music you want to make. Who are the people that you're making it for? Who do you want to connect to? How do you want people to feel when they leave the show? And then and be open to the fact that that can change. Like that has definitely changed for me as I've like gotten older and developed as a person and an artist. But I think when you're really clear about that, it's harder for someone else to take you off the path
Mhm.
and you won't accept less than that. Because I think sometimes we like when we're younger, we go into situations like that. We're just getting started, and then someone tells you what to do, and you're like, "Well, they probably know more than me because they're like the executive." So yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice would just be like trying to figure it out strongly in yourself so that you
Mm,
have like almost a set of values to
mhm.
check yourself with as you're moving up and taking meetings with people and making decisions about putting music out.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's really like that's good for everyone, really, honestly.
Yeah. It's an important part of the process, I feel.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I saw an interview with Chapel Roan recently where she was like, I didn't know that I was supposed to have answers to all of these questions. And I was
Mm,
like, I've never felt something
yeah.
so much in my life.
Wonderful. You also have roots in musical theater, rock, and classical performance. How does this range of style influence your music, if at all? And do you have a favorite style to dabble in?
Oh, I mean, I think the fact that I was a musical theater kid slash am comes through in a lot of stuff just because like sometimes I'll like go into a session with someone and they've heard my stuff and they know I have a really loud voice or a really big voice and that I like write really kind of like epic-y stuff. And then I'll be like, no, 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 let's just like write a chill ballad. Let's just like,
Mhm.
and it never stays that way. Like I tried to write a song a couple months ago that was meant to be like a relaxing, like chill kind of song, and it still had like a giant chorus. And I think that's because I just like that's the kind of stuff that makes me excited.
Mhm.
Like, and I was such a big Florence and the Machine fan when I was a teenager, and like she's so epic, and like Queen is my favorite band. So I think rock that blends elements of musical theater is like where I feel most at home because it's really theatrical. It allows you to do more fun things visually. It lets you jump all over the stage and kind of gives you permission to be a little bit like over the top and be like,
Mhm.
at the beginning of Dying to Live, there's like a random section that sounds like you're singing about when your husband will come home from the war. And then it's like a rock song. And I like being able to do things like that.
Mhm.
I think before my part in Epic, which like I had recorded that little clip for Hera like such a long time ago
Mhm.
and had like actually kind of forgotten about it. And then the day that it came out, I was like, why do I have so many Instagram followers today? What's going on? And then was like, oh, I can listen to it. But I think like I used to have like a really big hang up about social media.
Mhm.
Like I was always like, oh, that's just like not for me. Like I don't feel comfortable on it. And it was like a huge like sticking point a lot because I would like take meetings with people and they'd be like, well, you're really cool, but like nobody knows who you are. So like come
Mhm.
back to us when people know who you are, kind of thing. And I think it was like I think it came from like I'm sure you guys have like experiences too, but like being like, oh, I don't want to like post about myself on the internet because like then people I know are gonna see it and it's like gonna be so cringy and like what if nobody likes
Mhm.
it? And so I just like never used to feel okay doing that and was kind of like that's just something I'm never gonna engage with. And then when Epic came out, I was like, oh, I feel like I should like say something because I was part of this. And then it just kind of like snowballed really fast. And there were like all these new people that I was like, wow, like people are looking at stuff that I did like 5 years ago
Mhm.
and are finally finding all of these things that I worked really hard on with my friends. Like the Cynthia video is like 4 years old now, I think. So I think that changed something in me where I was like, I think it's a really normal thing to feel like that as a person because like the internet is weird, but
Mhm.
um it's also like it is the way the world works now. And I think once I like changed my mindset of like this is an opportunity to like connect with people in a really meaningful way all over the world um from my house because like being a musician is obviously like expensive and like while I can't like afford to go and like play a show in like Japan, I can like make a video and
Mhm.
then somebody there can find out about it.
Mhm.
So I think being in Epic and having people discover me and stuff made me have a lot more confidence to like
Mhm.
put myself out there to be open to being found by people.
That's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
I just released a book and I was saying to Ivy like how weird it is. Like just people coming into your DMs suddenly and like just suddenly getting a bit more noticed. It's a very strange feeling.
It is. Also, congratulations on your book.
Thank
Can link.
you.
Not to do an ad, but there is an ad.
Ah, I was okay. I was like, that looks like I love
Yeah.
that cover.
Yeah. I mean, while we're on the
Kin-
subject, Kindling, it's under Bonniewood. There, my name is
Ah,
there
Yeah,
twice.
I have a lot of pen names now.
Yeah.
okay, that's so sick. That's awesome.
She also
Yeah.
does poetry and a lot
Oh
of
no.
your
Oh,
stories.
a multi-talented queen.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
truly
but
is.
we're not here to talk about me.
Yeah, I always
But no,
am.
it's true. Like so since Epic, I like made like a Discord, which I had
Mhm.
had zero experience with. But people kept being like, "Oh, you should make one. You should make one." So I made one. Now there's like 70 people in it, and they are all like from different places in the world. And like I pop in there and like read what they're chatting about. And like two of them started a D&D campaign with each other because they were in this Discord. And I was like, "This is so sweet that like."
That's
Now
amazing.
people are like making friends over this. It's
Mm.
nice.
Ivy is going to join that Discord.
Yeah,
She
now that
wants
I
to
heard
play
D&D,
D&D.
well, I
Yeah,
wanted to
right.
join it. Well, first of all, for you, of course, because I've seen it like I think yesterday. But now D&D is really selling me.
Yeah, there's a lot of D&D fans in there.
Oh my God, my people.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we mentioned Epic, and as a big fan, I feel like I have to ask, like, what was the process like? Because also, I feel like the audition was such a unique way. At least that's the first time I saw people auditioning through like TikTok like that. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was so I got a message from somebody I went to university with who studied like Greek mythology and is
Mhm.
obviously super into it. And she was on the Discord for Epic, and
Mhm.
so she knew that they were like looking for people, and she was like, I feel like this is very your vibe. Like you love mythology. Like you should audition for this. And I think I had like just made a TikTok, so I was like, what the heck, why not? And recorded this like little video in my bedroom. And then he messaged me back being like, oh, would you be down to like hop on a call? And then it was like him and someone else who was involved with Epic.
Mhm.
And I had to do the audition again and like dress up. And I did all this like gold makeup and stuff, which I wish I had taken a picture of because I remember it was cool. And then I waited a bit, and then they were like, "We've decided to pick you for this part." Um, and then they like sent me the clip of it. I found a producer here in London to like record it
Mhm.
like remotely. Some of the people who were also in the States got to like go and record it, but
Mhm.
it just didn't really make sense because I'm so far away.
Mhm.
And so we called him on the phone, and he was like on FaceTime while we were doing the session. Um, which was really funny because like I was in the vocal booth, the producer was outside the vocal booth, and then like Jorge was on FaceTime, and like we were all like trying to talk to each other and be like, wait, can you do that again? But like this. Um and then I sent it over, and then I kind again like I kind of honestly forgot about it. I was like, and it's like my part was like such a small part in it as
Mhm.
well. So I was like, oh, like this is a cool thing that I've like done, but like LOL,
Mhm.
who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it came out, and everyone was like, "Hey, baby," you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, groovy is really scratching my brain in the best way possible. So thank you. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, that part was so hard as well because I think I was like one of the last people to have finished their part for
Mhm.
that, and everyone's is in succession, and mine is
Yeah.
last. And I kept being like, "When is it coming? When is it coming?" When? And then just be like, "Groovy" at the
Yeah.
absolute wrong moment. So it took a lot of takes,
Absolutely
but
amazing.
yeah.
Well, we're running out of time, but we always ask our guests if you're enjoying anything at the minute, any movies or TV or books that you want to shout out.
Ooh, well, I just finished watching season 7 of Love is Blind, because that is how I like to unwind my day.
Mhm.
But the event that I went to this morning was actually it was for like London Literature Festival. And I don't know if either of you know Florence Given. She's like an author, illustrator, internet human who talks a lot about like feminism and great things. And she just wrote a book, and I got a copy of it today because I went to see her
Oh,
speak. And it's called Women Living Deliciously, and I'm very excited to read it. So
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
That looks very good. Wonderful. Well, thank you so, so much for joining us. This has been blessed. I mean, I
Oh, thank you
again,
for
like,
having me.
I really got into your music and I got to be a really big fan. So this really made me nervous, but I'm really glad to
Oh no, I
see and
mean,
chat with
you
you.
guys are great. All these
Yeah.
questions were so thoughtful.
Great.
Are you planning to publish with your book? Because if you are, please come back to us
Yeah.
when it's out.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I definitely will. It's not done yet because like as I'm sure you know, it's so you need so much like dedication to
Yeah.
finish a book. But
It's a
we'll get there
journey.
when we get
Yeah.
there.
Well, you can shout out about it with us here, whatever.
I
Yeah.
will. Great name as well. I love the podcast name.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. That's our greatest joy, yes. Before we get to the rest of the episode, will jump here as an editor, Ivy, because as you might have noticed, at least the ones who have been listening to us for a while, we had a little different song throughout the before and after the interview. That, of course, is Dying to Live by Posey that came out recently and is available to stream. And as a little treat, you get to listen to a few seconds of it now just to tease it a little bit and also to talk you into listening to it on Spotify or anywhere you listen to your music because it's very great. And we can't recommend Posey's music enough because we truly, truly love it. So enjoy. I've been waiting my whole life for something heavy. I've been waiting my whole life, and you think you're gonna teach me, try me, sanctify me. I don't want you, I don't hate me. I'm lying here trying to live. I'm lying here trying to
But there we
live.
have it.
It's
That
true.
was good fun. I say it every fucking time, but I love talking to people that like we wouldn't usually talk to.
I
Like I've never
know.
talked to a musician
I know.
before.
I know. It's amazing.
No.
And it's really interesting to see, like, especially we had Wendy Martin, who's a graphic novelist. So we talked about how you write when you write for comic books. And now we get to know what it's like when you write songs, which is it's the same crap, like the same thing, but so vividly different. I I do enjoy the opportunity that we have, like when we enjoy something, we can talk to the person.
I
It's
know.
such a great, great thing that we have.
It is. We're very lucky.
Yeah, I'm always blown away. And this came to like very, I mean, I saw a shot and I took it, and this was very, I mean, ugh. What? Yeah. Did I ask what's your favorite song? We talked about it, didn't we?
No, you didn't.
Sorry. I was like, I know this though. Like, oh my God. What's your
You
favorite
got
song?
distracted by Epic the
I
Musical.
did. Oh God. And I was like, but
It's
I
fine.
know. But I mean, what's your favorite song from the EP, Rachel?
Thank you for asking, Ivy. My favorite song is Home because because it's very like edgy and a bit
Mm.
angry and I want to shout it in someone's face.
Yes, I think you should. Yeah. Yeah. I do have a question, which is a little unrelated. Well, kind of related. If you could choose anyone in the world that you would like to interview, who would that be?
Ooh. Oh.
Mhm.
Ooh.
No.
No,
Does it
I
start with
don't think
Sebastian and it ends with Stan?
crossed my mind, but
Pedro
then
Pascal.
I went to Harry
Of
Styles.
course. That's fair.
But actually prefer Louis Tomlinson because is Louis Tomlinson.
Mhm.
But then I would go to Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure if that's my final answer. Like that's a lot of pressure to put on a
I
person.
get it.
I do find it hard nowadays when you get the question, who do you most admire?
Yeah.
Because I'm finding that as I get older, I'm not idolizing celebrities as much
Mhm.
as I used to. I don't
Mhm.
think that they're above everybody else. I think
Mhm.
they're attractive and they can be good people, but
Mhm.
I'm also very aware that they're just people.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, my bestest friends, like they're the people who have shown me like how to love and how to like have a home. So I think these days, like as much as I love celebrities, I find it hard to really answer that question, I guess.
Mm.
But how about you?
Elizabeth
Let me guess.
Olsen.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I have no hesitation whatsoever. I had it ready. I was just waiting. Yeah, no. I think like her or Jodie Comer because I think they're like very similar in the acting style, and I'm really like interested. I do the ta like the craft and like the technicality behind acting is really fascinating to me.
Mm,
So I would be really I mean, like you can listen to interviews and stuff, of course, but
yeah,
I feel like there's a lot of generic questions with a lot of generic answers these days. And I'm just
yeah.
really, I would like just really like d dive deep into the craft,
Mm,
and especially like because I think Elizabeth Olsen specifically has such a unique way of acting with a lot of like her face and her eyes. So yeah, and I'm obsessed. I mean, what can I say? Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I wanna come up with a really great answer, but
yeah.
I guess it would be interesting to talk to Suzanne Collins.
Oh yeah, that's
Not,
a
she
really good
doesn't
question.
do
Answer.
a huge amount of interviews or anything,
Yeah,
but she has a lot of things to say, I
it's true.
believe. Nicola Coughlan,
Oh yeah, yeah.
she's a great person, and um, I would kind of love to be like love to just hear about like how she deals with all the shit that she
Mm,
gets, like, and like just gossip about and like rant about the
mm,
fact together that
yeah,
people are fucking weird for making
yeah,
a body such a big thing.
yeah. I would also, of course, like to talk to Jorge, who is the creator of Epic, because again, like from the surprise, but again, like from the point, like writing a musical is again like such a unique thing. Or you know what? I'm taking Lin-Manuel Miranda also. It's
Mm,
I just want to know more about all that.
yeah.
Like how do you do that? Especially when it's so
Yeah.
good. And
Well,
I
you
would
have
like
connections now.
that's true. Yeah. And also I think like some like really, really, really smart people who talk in language that I don't understand.
Mm.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, I would love to talk to him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that would be really fun for me.
Who?
N Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's the astrophysicist.
I don't know who that is.
I'm sure. I mean, we talked about it. If I show you a
Oh yeah,
picture,
look, for sure. Like, I'd love to talk to people who understand science and
yeah.
stuff.
And I think he has a really great way of ex like dumbing it down, really.
Mm. Oh, his face is familiar, but I don't know
Yeah.
him. There are a lot of like dead artists,
Mhm.
authors that I would enjoy talking to, like
Like who?
Vincent van Gogh,
Oh,
Virginia Woolf. I just,
mm,
like as a neurodivergent, I kind of feel like a kindred ship with those types of artists who like very clearly struggled a lot with
hmm
just existence, just like having
mm.
a brain that exists.
So you said you didn't know how we're searching for a good answer and you found so many of them. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's
Just
true.
takes me a while. Just gotta think about it a little
That's
bit.
fine. Of course. Yeah.
For purely selfish reasons, I won't mind talking to like Billie Piper. I'm in love with her.
Oh yeah. I
She
mean,
had a bit.
she oh now was in chaos, so I'm up for it because I want to talk to her about that.
Yeah.
You can find a theme in my answers slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be quite fun to talk to someone like Alice Osman as well, like people
Oh
who've had
yes.
a huge impact on queer lit.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think I'd like to talk to booksellers more as well.
Mm,
Like they put in a lot of work into the community, and I don't think that they're necessarily acknowledged for that by
true.
readers.
It's true.
I guess I just want to talk to everybody.
That's I'm also finding that out. Like really same. I'm just really, especially when the other person is very passionate about what they do
Yeah.
and like that. It can be anything. It can be absolutely anything, and I would love to hear about it and
Yeah.
listen about it.
I would love to be the type of interviewer that someone like Sean from Hot Ones is. Like
He's a really
asking great questions, somebody who people genuinely want to talk to instead of just asking the same shit that people get in like press junkets and get sick
yeah.
of. I would
Oh,
love to be.
there is interview. I think his name is Brandon, and I see sometimes his interview a lot when it comes to like superhero movies and stuff. And he has
Mm,
really fantastic questions also. I think that's who I'm thinking of. He's a really good interviewer. It's
yeah.
even when I'm listening to interviews and there's some like someone drops a really phenomenal question. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
sir, you have talent. And I don't say it often because I necessarily don't want to talk about men. But wow.
Well, because I think it's just because a lot of people don't treat celebrities like people anymore. So
Mm,
they ask questions that are really easy to answer and one-dimensional that fans in general would want to hear, but they kind of
yeah.
forget that like that person existed during the
No.
time they were creating something. They were
Yeah.
living it, and most of us don't get that opportunity.
Hmm. Yeah. I would also
Yeah.
like to talk to some director.
Mm,
Mm.
Greta Gerwig.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God. Elizabeth Banks. Just anyone really, I guess. Yeah.
Anna Kendrick, she just brought out Woman of the Hour. Did you watch the trailer?
No, I don't think so.
So she produced it and I think she directed it. But she's also obviously the main actress in it, and it's based on a true story. And it's about a woman who goes on a dating TV show in like the 70s, I want to say, and she's matched with a serial killer.
Oh my God. No, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. There was a scene I saw on Twitter over the weekend where he kind of she gives him a fake number and he confronts her like, "Will you just give me the number again?"
I saw
And it's
that.
like, yeah, super tense and kind of and but like something probably most women have had an experience with. And then he starts following her through the parking lot
Hmm.
and it's tense.
It really always reminds me the scene in Station 19 when one female character was getting close to this guy in a bar. And you just get that feeling. You get it. Like even though it was the most innocent conversation they had, like then he tried to attack her.
Yeah.
But like I saw it coming so clearly just because of like that gut feeling that we women have.
Yeah.
It's just wowie.
I saw a TikTok this weekend and it was an American girl staying in a hotel in Amsterdam and she was leaving and because there was something wrong with the room or they didn't feel safe and a Scottish man was tr talking to her and like asking her like what room you staying in like stuff that they don't need to know and like as a woman it gives you
Mm,
like it's a red flag
yeah.
even though it might be considered normal for a man to ask that to another man. Like women can't have the luxury of feeling safe in conversations like that, or any conversation with a stranger. And then I looked in the comments and people were like, oh, it's just because he's Scottish. Like Scottish people just have banter like that.
It's like there was a video going around on TikTok a while back where it was a man who looked like I don't want to say like dangerous, but like chasing a woman because he had like she lost her keys or something and he
Yeah.
had it and he chased her to give it to her or like her wallet. And she
Yeah.
was running away from him, like terrified. And the comments were like, oh, he just wanted to help. Oh, this is like racial profiling. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But like, you don't understand. If a man starts to chase you, no matter what he looks like, you get fucking terrified.
Yeah. Honestly, I despise men who run who are jogging and they run up to you, even though they're just minding their own business, jogging,
Yeah.
and they're going to go past you. It
Yeah.
makes me severely uncomfortable. And the
Yeah.
fact that they can't even acknowledge that,
Like you start to
like,
hold your breath and like
yeah,
you have to, you so focus so straight on them. It's so weird.
yeah.
Actually,
And
right.
there's not really a solution to that. Like,
No.
you can't expect them to just stop running. Like,
Yeah.
they're just going out for a run, but like, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Right now, actually, today there's a video from Graham Norton show where it's Paul Mescal, Saoirse Ronan, and Eddie Ray, what was his name? Raidman?
Don't know. Redmayne, you
Yeah,
mean?
that one. Yeah. And Paul and Eddie are like having a little joke, but and Paul's like, if I get attacked, I'll be like, oh wait, I have to take a phone and then like hit the person with a phone or something like that. And you can see Saoirse's like getting annoyed and she wants to try to say something and like they jump over her with these like silly jokes. And then she's like, well, that's what women have to think about all day, like all the time. And then they go quiet. Like it's so
Deadly
uncomfortable.
silent.
It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, and
The
quiet.
entire studio
Yeah.
quiet. And then she
And
goes,
it's
"Am I
so
right,
good.
girls?" And then
Yeah.
everybody like bursts into fucking applause.
It's such a good thing. And like it just comes to prove like even when you think of these men as whatever, like unproblematic or like who are aware of these issues, they still are not fully aware. Like
No.
it's not their experience.
Hmm.
And this just comes to remind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee there'll be so many comments like, "Oh, what a buzzkill!" Like, "Oh,
Yeah,
she
for
ruined the
sure. For
vibe."
sure. Yeah.
But it's like there's never a good time to bring up the fact that men are fucking predators.
Yeah. Anyway, we took a turn
We did take a
from a
turn.
favorite song to men being predators once again. I guess that's where we
Checks
end
out.
always. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Got a lot of things to say. To be fair,
Um,
we haven't had one of those ranting episodes in a
I
while, so
didn't.
we were due one.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Well, before we go, anything else you'd like to say? Anything else lying on your
No,
mind?
just to check our blog.
Yes,
We
always.
have a few interviews coming up soon.
That's true.
Um, and we have monthly queer release lists. And what else
Just
do we
follow
have?
us on our social media
Yeah,
to
we
stay
have another
updated.
camp in January if you want to
That's
come write
true.
with us.
That's true. Well, until next time,
Support women's rights.
but most importantly, support women's wrongs,
I don't
especially
believe women have any wrongs.
there you have it. There you
I
have
can't
it.
think of one.
No, no, really can't. I really tried. Yeah, that's a really good point. I really like it. We should end it like that from now on. And until next time, well, I said that already. We shall see you later, alligator.
In a while, crocodile.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Swords and Sapphics. You can enjoy a new episode every Wednesday.
While waiting, you can visit our website, swordsandsuffix.com, and find lots of articles, interviews, and guest pieces.
Feel free to contact us with any requests, questions, or inquiries through a form on our website or directly to our email, swordsandsuffixpodcast@gmail.com.